Thank you, Rachel. Being more intentional again and conversation. Yeah, great. Awesome. So I had to learn some of these things too. Just because you become an amputee does not mean you're actually an expert on being an amputee or actually a person that's an expert in the field of disability. In fact, I had some inhibitions that were inside of myself that I really needed to overcome. They were a little bit, how do I say it, with being very vulnerable here. I sucked in my attitude, right, with people with disabilities. And I didn't even realize it was there. They were those people. Some of my best friends are people with disabilities. That was in my head, right? We say those things about other cultures, about other groups, and we think that we're being forthright with our words and that we're accommodating, accepting, or that we have value and benefits. And I wasn't valuing and benefiting my teammates as I was sitting in the gate waiting area in the Washington Dulles International Airport. I had just made the Paralympic team. Remember, I was trying to make the Olympic team, and now I'm on this Paralympic team. And as I'm sitting there, I'm looking at all my new teammates. They were people who were using wheelchairs, spinal cord injuries, paraplegics, quadriplegics. They were blind, couldn't see. They had people with cerebral palsy. And then there were amputees like myself. And as I was sitting there in my stupor saying, what is the value? What's the benefit of being on this team? I want to be on the Olympic team, not the Paralympic team. And as I was watching them and kind of in my own little stupor, I was sitting next to a gentleman in a three-piece, beautiful Armani suit, gator skin shoes on, pulling a Louis Vuitton bag, and he was talking so loud on his cell phone that I just wanted to reach out and touch him. Kept my hands to myself. I'm in my stupor. What's the value? What's the benefit of being on this team? The gate agent, she gets up to the lectern with her little self. She says, ladies and gentlemen, flight number 300 is now ready for passenger boarding. Will everyone who needs a little more time and assistance please get up and board the aircraft at this time? So 60 of my teammates and I got up and began to walk down the jet bridge. And I said, oh, benefit number one. I got on that plane. I was like, well, this is good. Put my stuff away, sat down in seat number 14F. I like the window seat over by the wing. And I'm like, I'm good. And I began to see this amazing spectacle of all my new teammates boarding the aircraft. The people that were in wheelchairs were being brought on aisle chairs. Those that had cerebral palsy and were ambulatory, they were using the backs of the chairs to go to their seats. Those who were blind were being led on by their teammates to their seat. And then I see from the wheelchair basketball team, Tree. Now, Tree is a bilateral amputee, and Tree stands 6 feet, 8 inches tall. He's walking on the plane, ducking underneath the sides. He sits down in seat 7C, but I get it. Tree can be a tree at 6'8", or a stump at 4'3", depending upon which legs he picks out of his closet in the morning time. So he sits down, seat 7C, pops those legs off, hands them to the flight attendant, who then places those legs up in the overhead bin. Back over in 14F, I get it. Benefit number 2. More leg room. So now I see the flight attendant, they're exchanging some words over there, and the flight attendant says, Tree, may I help you with anything else? And Tree says, no, ma'am, I'm good. And off she walks back into the first class cabin through the red curtains to get all the ABs on board the aircraft, all the able bodies. So as she does that and the curtains close behind and she's certainly tucked away in the first class cabin, Tree, now being 4'3", jumps up into his seat, takes his long basketball arms, hoists himself up to the overhead bin, lays prone next to his legs, closes the bin door. 14F. I catch eyes with Amy, my swim teammate. Amy turns her head, puts it down, twiddles her thumbs, like they have done this 1,000 times before. So I'm on the edge of my seat. What's going to happen? And people are going to the back. ABs are going to the front. They're going to the sides. And then I'm trying to figure out who's going to sit in that seat. Then we have our winner, Mr. Armani suit. Still pulling that Louis Vuitton behind him. Still talking on a cell phone. And he comes to seat 7B, which he exclaims over his cell phone. And that bag won't fit underneath the seat back pocket in front of him, so he must go to the overhead bin where our friend Tree has been lying prone for the last 5 minutes. And when he goes to lift that latch, don't get ahead of me now. He goes to lift that, boom, out Tree pops. Jump just like you did, man. Armani from the 7th row does a Carl Lewis long jump back to the 14th row where I'm at. Papers all over the place. I catch eyes back with Amy. Amy says, "Oh, that's pretty good, John." New world record. Armani picks all his stuff up, goes back up to where Tree is. No joke. He's in the top of that overhead bin. He now has his hand on his chin. Those little nub legs are crossed. And he says, "I'm sorry, sir, this overhead bin space has been filled." And I'm thinking to myself, oh my gosh, that was amazing. But then I started thinking about what my reactions were out in the gate waiting area when I was devaluing my teammates. Because I wanted to be on the Olympic team, not the Paralympic team. It looked like I was going to be having much more fun on the Paralympic team than I ever would have had on the Olympic team. And that was the third benefit, to know that people choose to live life as they are. It's not for them to adjust to a new shift and a new mindset. It's for us, for me, to do that.